Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, 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 Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari, Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari, Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari, Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari, Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Shri Radha Madhava ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So we're reading from the Canto 9, Chapter 10, Text 52. There's something clicked here. This doesn't matter?
Yeah, so online devotees are joining.
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashta Prayesha Bhadreshu Nitya Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Can you make it a little bigger, please? It's a little bit. Oh, I should have it here. I have it in my computer. Hare Krishna, no problem. So let's see. Vanāni nadyo girayo varṣāṇi dvīpa-sindhavaḥ sarve kāma-dughā āsan prajānāṁ bharatarṣabha vanāni nadyo girayo varṣāṇi dvīpa-sindhavaḥ sarve kāma-dughā āsan prajānāṁ bharatarṣabha. Please.
Vanāni nadyo girayo,
Vanāni nadyo girayo,
varṣāṇi
varṣāṇi dvīpa-sindhavaḥ,
sarve kāma-dughā āsan,
prajānāṁ bharatarṣabha. Vanāni nadyo girayo, varṣāṇi dvīpa-sindhavaḥ, sarve kāma-dughā āsan, prajānāṁ bharatarṣabha. Vanāni, the forests, nadyaḥ, the rivers, girayaḥ, the hills and mountains, varṣāṇi, various parts of the states or divisions on the surface of the earth. Dvipa, islands.
dvīpa-sindhavaḥ,
the oceans and seas,
the oceans and seas,
sarve,
sarve,
all of them,
all of them,
kāma-dughāḥ,
kāma-dughā,
full of their respective opulences,
full of their respective opulences,
āsan,
āsan,
existed like that,
existed like that,
prajānāṁ,
prajānām,
of all the living beings,
all the living beings,
bharatar-ṛṣabha,
bharatar-ṛṣabha,
O Mahārāja Parīkṣit, best of the Bharata dynasty.
O Mahārāja Parīkṣit, best of the Bharata dynasty.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. O Mahārāja Parīkṣit, best of the Bharata dynasty, during the reign of Lord Rāmacandra, the forests, the rivers, the hills and mountains, the states, the 7 islands, and the 7 seas were all favorable in supplying the necessities of life for all living beings. We have another verse, but I will just read this once again. This is 9:10:52. Vanāni nadyo girayo varṣāṇi dvīpa-sindhavaḥ sarve kāma-dughā āsan prajānāṁ bharatarṣabha. Just a quick comment that here is explained to Mahārāja Parīkṣit how actually when Lord Rāmacandra ruled during the realm, he was ruling the earth, everything, all the natural resources were full and flourish. We were just recently, like 2 weeks ago, before we came here, or before we came to Simachal actually, we were in a rural area in Germany, and there was trees full of apples, like just growing by themselves. Nobody's grooming them, or just apples are just and nobody is picking them. So the trees was full with apples, and on the floor full of apples. So I was just thinking now, actually, when Krishna is satisfied, you can say, the natural resources will automatically be there. Everything will be there. Everything, the fruit, the flowers, the food, that's why for the sages it's easy to live in the forest in the Vedic times, in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dvapara Yuga, because the land itself was pious. And when the land is impious, like now, we actually cutting the land as much as possible, putting concrete and asphalt to all the land actually. So there's no nature to flourish. There's no fruit, So meaning Krishna supplied this world with everything suitable for our nourishment, everything suitable for our living. So we just have to actually satisfy Krishna. Therefore, why we put so much points on Varnāśrama Dharma, because ultimately, what do we care about Varnāśrama Dharma? As devotees, we care about Krishna, as in the chapter of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, when Ramananda Rai is asking, Krishna is asking Ramananda Rai, what is the goal of life? And he said, to be perfect in Varnāśrama Dharma. And Lord Chaitanya said, this is good, but tell me something higher. And in the end came out that actually being worshipping the gopis in Vrindavan is the highest. Of course, Radharani, this is the highest type of worship. So in reality, as the Hare Krishna devotees, and our philosophy of our goal is to actually Raganuga Bhakti, to achieve Raganuga Bhakti, spontaneous love of Krishna. So the Varnāśrama Dharma has no meaning. But why the Varnāśrama Dharma has meaning is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati explains that we are not as ISKCON devotees, as devotees, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we do not ultimately follow Varnāśrama Dharma, because goal of Varnāśrama Dharma, most of it, is to go to Svargaloka, heaven. But we are following Daivi Varnāśrama Dharma. Daivi Varnāśrama means we are still having this goal of Raganuga Bhakti, serving, to enter the eternal pastimes of Radha Krishna Vrindavan. But for the sake of organizing the world, we have to have some kind of organization. If everybody runs around, that will be very difficult. And this is one reason. And another reason is if we perform Varnāśrama Dharma, the earth will be harmonized, and then we will have an opulence, we'll have a fruit, we'll have flowers, we'll have cows who give ghee, So to do sacrifices, we'll have milk, we'll have all these wonderful preparations. Because without a cow, there's no sacrifice. Yagyas is not possible without a cow. So, and nowadays we know how difficult it is to maintain a cow. So difficult. Cow is like a big deal to maintain. First of all, the people are not qualified. They are mental. In India is different. Again, in India you pay. I don't know how you call this. Guy, how you call this? Anybody from North India? How do you call this in people who take care of the cows? Gwala. Yes. The Christians known as Gwali. There's one village called Gwalior. Gwalis. These are the Gwalis. Huh? Anyways, the Gwalis. These are the people who take care of the cows. So in the West, people are not qualified to take care of the cows because we don't have this culture of caring for the cows. We have a culture of killing the cows and care for the dog. If you saw how many people care for the very smelly, dirty dog, and actually cow, which is the most pure animal, they kill. This is ridiculous. But so therefore, by following Varnashram, we will actually, the earth will be harmonized, the earth will be pleased, and the rivers will be pure. There'll be no factories, as Prabhupada says. It says, what do you need factories for? He said, when the whole thing collapses, would you eat nuts and bolts? So you would eat the screws and machines, and you cannot eat this. Shri Shri Gaura Nitai Ki Jaya. So this is just one thought what I had. Then the next verse is verse number 53. Nadi vyadi jaraglani dukkha shoka bhaya klamaha mrityush chani chattam nasid rame rajanya dokshaje. When Lord Rāmacandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was the king of this world, all bodily and mental suffering, disease, old age, bereavement means disturbances of all kinds, lamentation, distress, fear, and fatigue were completely absent. There was no even death for those who did not want it. I mean, this is the high level of ruling. He was so much pleasing Krishna that if you didn't want to die, you don't die. So this is interesting. So first of all, during the reign of a proper king, everything was so harmonized that the earth was given all these wonderful things. And not just the earth, but also the people's bodily and mental suffering. No more mental suffering. Imagine, no mental suffering. Just complete, no anxiety. I was just thinking, there's so much anxiety in this world. Only when we die, we'll be free from anxiety. So this is not possible to be free from anxiety. The world is made to be full of anxiety. And mental suffering and bodily suffering, no more toothaches, no more liver problems, no more nothing, no problems, bodily problems. Disease, no diseases anymore. Imagine, so many this apotheke, how many drugs they have, all kinds of different pills, and red pills and green pills and white pills, and huge factory, huge industry. Actually, I think this is the biggest money maker industry in the world. Comparing to the biggest industries, people do business, but this is the best business. Sickness is the best business. And imagine, no sickness, none. I remember my grandmother when I was young, and she takes me to the church. I was very small, and they meet two women, and she asks, "How are you?" And "Oh, this is hurting me, and this is hurting me." And the other woman said, "Oh, I also have this is hurting me." And so they talk half an hour what is hurting, isn't it? I don't know, maybe because this is a big thing, hurting, disease. No disease at all. Then no old age. You don't ever, you're always young. Again, another industry, which is a huge industry, which is cosmetic. The first floor of Kaufhof, Galeria Kaufhof, or any kind of department store. First floor is full of cosmetics. So much cosmetics. Why? Because people don't want to get old. They don't want to look old. When they say fountain here, they see, what is the fountain? Fountain nitya of those? Wrinkles. They see wrinkles. Oh my God, I have a wrinkle. Immediately put this and that. And nowadays, even worse, more in another industry which makes huge amounts of money is the industry of how you call this, aesthetic surgery. To tighten up here or this. When you get old here, all this tighten up, and some people look like this. They cannot smile because everything is tightened up. This is another. So no old age, none. We're all young and always nava yovanam, fresh, just like Krishna. No lamentation. No lamentation. Let's see bereavement. Exactly what is the meaning of the word bereavement? So Prabhupada used this word, deprived of something. Bereavement meaning deprived of something. Suffering also means suffering the death of a loved one. So meaning we don't suffer, because there's no death. So your parents die and you feel separation, or your husband dies. Many times we can see on the street, husband and wife alone, old, 80 years old, 90 years old. They live their whole life, 50, 60 years together. So when one partner dies, this is a big bereavement. This is a big suffering, So no suffering. Everybody is always alive. Everything is always good. Then lamentation. Nobody is lamenting. Na shochati, na kankshati. This is the Bhagavad Gita verse. It says that in this material world, everybody is always lamenting. Oh, this mode of ignorance, lamenting. Oh, I have this problem. I have that problem. Oh, I have this problem. I have that problem. This is the Brahmanas don't lament. Kshatriyas definitely don't lament. They cut their arm. They are like, no. When Varahadev killed Hiranyaksha, how did Hiranyaksha die? He bit his lip. Well, I'm dying, but I'm not surrendering. Not surrendering. he died, but he bit his lip in a sign, I'm not surrendering. This is Kshatriya. No lamentation. You think, oh, I'm dead. No, I'm still fighting. No lamentation. So, and no distress of any kind. No distresses. One of the biggest, this is I'm revealing now, for me, distress in Vrindavan, when I go to Vrindavan, is dogs. If I go to, I don't know, I have such a fear of these dogs, because they don't come in 1, 2, they come like 5, 6. And then you go to the temple morning, Mangala Arati, 4 o'clock or 3:30, nobody on the street, and dogs are waiting. And I'm thinking, oh my God, how am I going to pass this now? How am I going to pass them? Totally distress. I want to go to Mangala Arati to chant, but when I see the dogs, so I usually wait for some people to come. 2, 3, when they come, then I go with them. Otherwise, I have this big distress for me. Then fear. This is a fear also. We have so much fear of this, fear of that. And all this is gone. And fatigue. Nowadays, everybody's taking the medicine to get, energy, or people who fast, they say, oh, now I feel more energized. I don't feel fatigue anymore, because we constantly feel fatigue. Because the food we eat is not a nourishing food. This is the reason. No nourishing. Everything we eat is somehow not good, The food we eat is very polluted, first of all. I saw this one that was a long time ago. Is imagine you grow food and it just takes some poison and like we put salt and pepper, they put poison on the food and they eat now. Why would you put poison in your food? For what? But because it looks good in the store, and therefore when you go to the shopping, and then you see, oh, this looks very nice. If you see apples, which I mentioned, in the forest, and some of the apples are, they don't look exactly, look smaller, or they look this and that. Some of them have worm. So people, I don't want this. I want the only thing that it looks fresh and good, but it's actually full of poison. So fatigue is this, and also with fatigue, very easy. With old age, you fatigue. Old people, very difficult to go upstairs. Not easy. But by the Krishna's grace, all this is, Prabhupada says here, translates, all these things were completely absent. None. Imagine this. And there was no even death for those who did not want it. So if you want to die, I'll die. Maybe I'll die next year, or whatever you want. Imagine this. Nice life. Nice life. It's a very nice life. So therefore, spiritual life, practicing spiritual life, worshiping Krishna, also means not only spiritual benefit but material benefit too. If the whole world will be purified, and the whole world will actually even better living, have better living. So how did this translate to us? Let's see the purport. All the facilities existed because of Lord Rāmacandра's presence as the king of the entire world. This is another thing. The political system, ideal political system, Prabhupada always says, is a monarchy. King has to be. So we also have political system in our temples. So political system has to be monarchy. The temples, Prabhupada wanted to have a temple president. Prabhupada wanted to have three people: temple president, vice president, temple president, secretary, and treasurer. These three. They're supposed to run the temple, not big bureaucracy. Prabhupada did not want big bureaucracy. Funny enough, some years ago, I was reading something, and there was, the Hells Angels, the bicycle, motorcycle gangs. They said they organize in chapters. Chapter is like a small centers, like we have it. And each chapter is run by president, secretary, and treasurer. So maybe they copied it. Maybe they copied it from us. and Prabhupada, and each chapter is independent. So Prabhupada wanted each temple to be financially independent and institutional independent. That we don't depend that somebody comes and tells us from Mayapur, oh, you should do this, or you should do this. We follow the duty of a GBC is to actually visit temples and make sure that proper standards are followed. And that's about it. Make sure the standards are followed, and make sure that people chant 16 rounds and that follow for regular principles and reading Prabhupada's books. And that's about it as far as the duty of GBC or Aufgabe is work. No, what is Aufgabe? Task of the GBC. So we should not get into too much bureaucracy, because this will kill the spirit of independent preaching. Because each person has their own genius how to preach. Each person has their way how to preach. Like, Prabhupada even said, there was a letter that one devotee asked him, he told him he was a black in America. And he said it's very difficult for him to relate to white people. And he said, why don't you open a black temple? Only for the blacks. So this democracy is not necessarily the best thing to do. But we're growing up in democracy, and we think that this is the best way to do things. Like, for example, in temples, you have one devotee gives class, the next day, or somebody else should give class, somebody else should give class. But doesn't need to be the best, the one who gives class the best. Or in Christian churches, you have one person who gives class 20 years, every Sunday, the same pastor. Same pastor gives. Sometimes he invites the guest speaker, but mostly he gives the class. One person, one pastor. He takes care. This is actually monarchy. He takes care of. He's a pastor. He takes care of everything. He's a temple president or the church president, and then he gives sermon. He's a you can say monarch. So this democracy, we should be aware that we are very much influenced by the modern society, that we think democracy is the best way to do things. It's not. This is a monarchy, obviously. Everybody should get, like everybody should obey I don't think everybody should obey the deities, because this is deities pujari. In India, you don't have guests come in unclean pants, bathing the deities. Why? I said, well, we have to be merciful. Merciful means you watch the Abhishek, and this is the same benefit. You see the deity. This is your mercy. So democracy, we have democracy sneaked in all kinds of fields. So in the same way, any other field, whatever we do. So this is what Prabhupada says here. Because Rāmacandра's presence is the king of the entire world. So this is important because the king, or again, the leader of the chapter of the center, this person have their own ways of doing things. And that's what it is, their own ways. As long as the four regulative principles are followed, we don't offer, chicken masala to the deities, we don't offer anything which is, not offerable, onions, and everything else is, followed, principles are followed, the deities are worshipped, Prabhupada's books are read. So, this is the Prabhupada standards. He gave Mangalartik, Guru Puja, Gaura Aratik. Prabhupada gave these standards. We cannot now invent some other standards. These are the standards. And we follow these standards, and each person has maybe a little other flavor. Somebody's more this, somebody's more that. But this is up to them. So Prabhupada also said each big city should have at least 10 centers. He said in New York City should have at least 10 to 15 temples. Like we have in Delhi, how many? At least 11 temples. And they're not just centers, they are monstrosity, huge buildings with thousands of visitors. So, and this is Delhi. Of course, Delhi is at 25 million, how many million people. But, I'm saying that each city can have 5, 10 temples. Some big, some small. You have so many churches downtown, so many. Every corner there's a church. And they all somehow survive. All. And meaning like when we went to Regensburg a few weeks ago, in the city downtown, there's like 4 or 5 big churches next to each other. I was thinking, how could this, okay, now the city is big, but at that time, the city was not so big, Regensburg. How did these churches maintain themselves? Somehow they did it. There was enough audience for each of the church. So each temple, I think people, in cities like Berlin or Munich, or we can have 20, even Berlin can have 20 temples. I mean, the Berlin is huge city. So again, democracy is, we think, because we don't think that way, but we somehow, it's ingrained in us that democracy is the best. But it's not. Monarchy is the best. Prabhupada says, a similar situation could be introduced immediately, even in this age called Kali, the worst of all ages. So even in Kali Yuga, we think now, it's horrible, but it's by Krishna's grace, this can be introduced, and probably it will be not in our life, within our lifetime, but it will. You see how India is developing so big. So it will spill over slowly. It will take some time to come here, of course. It will spill. Bhaktivinoda said, India, Russia, and Prussia. So we are the next on the line. The Russia first has to go, because the Russians, so many devotees, and after Russia, it will spill on us, Prussia, all these countries here, including Germany. So we are the next on the line. And somebody said that China will be the last, but they will be the best devotees. Because they are somehow the most steady, the most serious, somehow or other. But still, even in China, there's so many devotees. But you see in Gorpunim, there are many Chinese devotees, actually. Many women, Chinese devotees, mostly women. Some are very serious devotees. But comparing to China, 1 billion people, that's not enough,
In our temple also, when Mataji comes Chinese, sometimes when she comes from China.
You see?
CC.
Very serious.
Yeah.
Serious devotees. So even in Kali Yuga, Prabhupada says, it is possible. Only thing, it is said, Kali Kale Nama Rupe, Krishna Avatar. Krishna descends in this Kali Yuga in the form of his holy name, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. what do we need to do? This is an Aufgabe for us, is we have to chant offenselessly. Rama and Krishna are still present in this age. So if we ourselves chant without offenses, Rama and Krishna will be present. And wherever, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, what is it? Yatra Parta Danudara. Any scholars here?
Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna Tatra Partha Dhanodara.
I don't know the last line.
Tatra Shrir Vijayo Bhutir Dhruva Nitya.
Yeah? And the translation is Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partha Danudara, Tatra Shrir Vijayo Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will be certainly opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. This is my opinion. So morality will also be there. So people will not kill cows anymore. People will not be engaging in intoxication, drugs. Friday night, if you go, this is ridiculous how it looks. And especially recently there was Oktoberfest. Evening time, we came from Regensburg maybe 12 o'clock in the night with the train. And from the train station, we took the U-Bahn full of drunk people walking and talking. I was thinking, this is horrible culture, actually. Horrible culture. Culture of intoxication, culture of meat eating. So this is not moral, actually. So, but when there's Krishna, with Krishna, we go to bed at 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock, max. That's it. And then we wake up early. This is the Krishna culture. If you go to Rajasthan, to Jaipur, Mangalartik, 4:30, 1,000 people. All city people come. I don't know, 1,000, but at least 300, 400, 500. Full Govinda. They're singing this. I don't know this song. Na 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 Om Jaya Jagadisha Hare. So they sing this song to Govindaji every morning. Every morning. Hundreds and hundreds of people. This is at 4:30. This is the Krishna culture. This is actually culture of Krishna. Let's see what else Prabhupada says. So you're thinking of victory. Oh, sorry. This is I'm reading now the other verse. Hare Krishna. If we chant without offenses, the kingdom of Rama was If we chant without offenses, Rama and Krishna are still present in this age. So even in our house, we have our griha. We should chant offensively, and we should try to follow the process. And our house will become also, the kingdom of God. And this is ultimately what Prabhupada wanted. Each grihasta should create their own, temple. As you can say, we meet in the temples on Sundays and, worship the deities and everything. This is our center of our meditation and everything. But in our house, we take what we learn from here and we apply it in our house. And our house becomes an extension of the temple. Like Prabhupada says, embassies of the spiritual world. So our house also becomes embassy of Shishigonita. We have our own little safe area from this material world. Safe Zuflucht. Is Zuflucht? Shelter. Safe shelter from the material world. This is what we have. And then on the end, Srila Prabhupada says, the kingdom of Rama was immensely popular and beneficial, and the spreading of this Hare Krishna movement can immediately introduce a similar situation even in this Kali Yuga. It sounds impossible, but it sounded impossible to me to promise when I was 20 years old to the rest of my life, I will follow the four regular principles, I will chant Hare Krishna, and somehow after 35 years, it's still, still there, struggling, but still there, so it's possible. And we can see so many senior... Huh? We are not struggling, but you have to say this as a part of at least we have to be. You can say humility. You have to show some kind of humility, but it is a struggle to get up in the morning to chant 16 rounds. It is the struggle. It's not struggle. It's in the morning you wake up and you don't know. Especially we travel a lot, and sometimes I wake up and I don't know which city I am. And at first I have to think, where am I? Where did I fall asleep last night? In this bed. Oh, okay, I remember now. It's a struggle, and then you have to take shower. It's a struggle. Then to chant 16 rounds. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. It's a struggle with the mind. It's a fight with the mind. It's a wrestling with the mind. But it's possible. So many devotees in ISKCON, so many devotees, 30, 40, 50 years, so many senior devotees, they're chanting, they're getting up, they're doing services. So it is possible. And the movement is increasing more and more. And so I can only advise people, or at least those who are watching right now, to keep on struggling, chanting Hare Krishna, and keep on actually doing service for Krishna, because this will bring the harmony, this will bring morality, and this will bring the victory. Nothing else will bring the victory. If you try to arrange our material life, this may never work. We should try it the other way around. We should try to arrange our spiritual life, and there, just like here, they said Lord Rāmacandra, when he was in charge, everything automatically harmonized. He didn't do anything special, because the earth is pleased, the Mother Earth is pleased, the Vayu is pleased, the Luft, everything, all these devatas who are in charge, they will also be pleased, and they will actually help the devotees. And how many times we see the devotees are helped out of nowhere for some arrangement, and Krishna arranges all these things. Anyways, this is all I wanted to say. Hare Krishna. So anybody would like to ask any question, maybe either two of you, or maybe somebody in the how do you say this, online assembly, which I don't see who they are.
Yeah, Prabhu, I have one question. So regarding this translation, so here how we see during Lord Rāmacandra's time, even no death for those who did not want it. So that means at the time a lot of people would have in one or the other sense took advantage of it, and then the society got degraded, or how can we?
Sorry?
No, at this time, if no death was also there, then people would have took advantage of it, and then the society got degraded, or why is the society now way different than Lord Rāmacandra?
Because it's Kali Yuga. The question was, how is it in those days, in this verse, even if you did not want to die, you did not die. And nowadays we came so down. It's a degradation. It's a Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is the age of degradation. And also this was Treta Yuga. So this is much, much purer Yuga. And the next one is Dvapara Yuga, which is also pure, but less pure than that one. And this is not at all pure. It's on the contrary. And you see every 10 years, it's more degraded. More degraded. As we were speaking the other day, we grew up without internet. I grew up without internet, and you just imagine, how do you meet this friend? It's not possible. No, we met friends like everybody else, normal. We just went out and we meet friends. We didn't need to call them and tell them we arrived now, or of course, some if someone is a distant place, we don't talk to them like now every 10 seconds. You would not be able to talk to your parents in India. But we lived, but we saw how food was much better, actually. Everything was better. Air was less polluted. The rivers are less. Now everything is more polluted, more. So degrading is all degrading. And morality is degrading severely. I don't want to get into details, And then this is now, and imagine in 10 years or 20 years, it will be much worse. I mean, during the Corona, this was the pure demoniac forces in action in the Corona time. These demoniac forces. They don't allow you to walk out. They don't. I mean, this was like, what was that? And everything was polluted. You cannot. Everything has to. I mean, this was the Kali Yuga showing the beauty of Kali Yuga, the glories of Kali Yuga in full display. And this will come back again. The degradation will. So therefore, the more we practice, the more we develop, our own Krishna consciousness, first of all, and second of all, the more we preach, it will be less. But again, this is not our goal. Our goal is not to have heaven on earth. Our goal is to go back to Godhead. But by doing this will come out naturally better. And Prabhupada says we should use the best out of bad bargain. This is our bad bargain. We have this body, we have this mind, and I should try to use it best as I can. People who come from India, you could have a temple with 2,000 devotees. Mangalarti in Pune was 300 people, 400, 300 people. We don't have 300 people. There was one or two, but you should use best out of bad bargain. This is what you have, and you should embrace it. And you say, okay, Krishna, this is what you offer me. I'll take it. I have a Mangalarti after all. So I'll be very happily singing for Shri Gonita. And I have a service. Anything else? Anybody on the internet? Zero. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. What do I do? Stream bending? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai Sacinandana Prabhu ki